Okay, this is Star Wars, Episode 1 Racer, test number 2. As usual with GOG games, I've had to do an awful lot to this to get it to play anything close to right. And right now, I guess what I'm doing is a test to kind of make sure the aspect ratio is correct on this thing. I'm not exactly sure what GOG is good for. I mean, they sell me games I've already purchased decades ago, and then they're not set up anything even close to right. So I know the movies and the videos, the intro movies and stuff like that are going to play in the correct aspect ratio. What I'm not sure about is if the game is going to look right. So Pod Racer, of course, was designed to be a 4x3 game with these weird kind of letterboxed intro videos. Okay, so that does not quite look right yet. Okay, so I think that is what we need it to look like for now. Now what I don't know is if this is going to appear to be too tall. Hard to say, and I'm probably not going to know until I review the video here. Team Toe Pagales, this is the guy I usually pick here. And, let's try this one. Ooh, this is going to have some tight stuff on it. Alright, well, let's just see how this goes. So I'm one of the few people that really like Star Wars Episode 1, and especially this game. This game came out just a little bit before the movie, and it really ratcheted my expectations up perhaps a bit too high. So this is one of my absolute favorite of the futuristic racers, or I guess past race, whatever. Star Wars is weird. One thing I do like about this is the sound effects that all of the different racers make, with the exception of Anakin, who does Anakin quotes. But the rest of them, they say some neat stuff. Music design is also very, very nice in this game. I like the career progression. You start from really quick races where, you know, you don't have to be too fast all the way up to, well, I just missed a jump that I didn't know was a jump. Now this is pod racing. Ooh. And as you can see, I'm just flying around the track. I'm only on the second tier, but I'm already going, you know, nearly 500 unidentified speed units fast here. Rah! And this game does absolutely everything you would ever want a pod racing game to do. I mean, the career progression, the Meat Series, tons of tracks, tons of racers, tons of upgrades, everything you could possibly want from like a hover racer, you know. So like, I would put this well above Extreme G or Wipeout games. This is definitely the game for me. And it may be my favorite N64 game, I don't know. It'd be real close. So I remember I was just so hyped for Star Wars Episode 1. It was not even funny. I'd seen the late 90s re-releases of the original trilogy with their silly little add-ons and additions. Oh, didn't take the right path there. And I just really liked how Star Wars Episode 1 showed us a lot of things that we've just never seen before. It showed us a lot of things also that we perhaps didn't think we needed to see, but for example, we got to see how Jedis generally interacted. That was all new. We got to see new planets, and Naboo's a very stylish planet. I think they made the right call on which planet to do there. Maybe could have dialed Jar Jar a little down below 11, and Anakin too, for that matter. But otherwise, pretty good movie. The music was incredible in A Duel of the Fates, and speaking of which, it has possibly the best moment in all of Star Wars there with Darth Maul. You know, he does the lightsaber and then twists it sideways, and then out comes the other one, and then everybody's minds were blown. Oh, it was such a great movie. And people these days, they seem to recall everybody hating Episode 1, and I just don't seem to have that recollection in the theater. I remember everybody generally liked it and was hopeful that the next one would be even better. Oh, Episode 1 is it's so nice to be behind the stick of this ship again. I'm actually going to have to back off and repair a bit around these corners. Don't want to repair too much though, because I'm sure I'll blow up at some point, which would make, you know, just smack straight into the wall, which would make all of the time I spent repairing kind of worthless. I remember back in N64, I knew all of the right paths to take, and I had all of the upgrades. It was great. A little bit of action there that I don't recall happening. Position of my fifth. I am doing absolutely horrible. I'm probably going to need some upgrades, or maybe pick a different racer for this. It's hard to say. Yes, those doors do move. Now here we are streaming underwater. I remember this was just amazing going through the underwater bits. Oh, here we go through these hexagonal pipes. So one thing that kind of bugs me about GOG is they kind of sell themselves as an organization that configures games to run on modern systems, but yet here I am spending hours and hours and hours trying to get this game to run like I remember it. And what exactly am I paying for, GOG? I mean, I already own Episode 1 Racer on everything it was released on, you know, Windows, N64, and eventually Dreamcast. The Dreamcast version, while more advanced than I guess the other two, is not the one to play it on. It was such an old game by that point. I think it was really best to play it on N64 before the movie came out. It was so amazing. So just like the regular thing, in the movie, there is a like a turbo button, but unlike most games, it is kind of hard to execute, and it does some terrible things to handle it. And you also don't build it up by doing, you know, stupid stunts or slides or anything. It's just a simple cooling off mechanic, and you try to keep your ship from blowing up. I am gonna have to slow down some more here. I don't think I've taken this path yet. I'm all the way in 9. I'm doing terribly. can't recall offhand how damaged. Believe my left side is more damaged than my right. If you get enough damage, your ship will start to pull. No, I look good. Oh, that's right, I blew up. That's the good part about blowing up, is you don't really have to worry about damage. I already know that I took the right path there. For the first time I actually looked over and saw the narrow path and like, I've been doing this very wrong. That would probably explain why I am in 7th place. Alright. Voodoo. So as you know, I really like 3D racers and video game racers in general. And especially racers that aren't afraid to keep their drivers out on the track for more than a few minutes at once. That's one of the things that I never really liked about the early Gran Turismos, is that you're out there for a 2-lap race, and that's just not enough time. Now these are only 3 laps, but they're very long laps. They're many parsecs long, I'm sure. Alright. I don't think I got any kind of place on that. Go down to a little bit easier of a track here. Let me see if... So I've been messing with my settings, and I want to see if I'm still having trouble with... I think it's going to be this one, where I was having trouble getting stuck inside a like a meteor that was floating in the 3-dimensional tunnel. So one of these levels has kind of like 3-dimensional tunnels in it that you have to like fly up, down, left, and right through and dodge things.
It's been a long time since the last race here at this maximum security facility, but time is something you've all got plenty of.
I'm not sure how smooth these video clips are supposed to be, but they're certainly not for me. Alright, let's just skip through that. I think I picked the right track. So I just really want to get to the 3D. Wow, that doesn't look great. The 3D tunnel portion, and hit that meteor, which I always damn seem to, just to see if I get stuck and have to quit the game. Or if the messing that I've done with DirectX 11 kind of maybe solve some of this stuff. So for some reason, when GOG released this game, they upped it from DirectX 6, which nothing is going to handle well, to DirectX 9, but they stopped at 9. And I'm currently running the game in DirectX 11, thanks to some kind of nasty wrapper poo here. Don't worry, I don't know how to dodge. I don't know if I've ever known how to dodge the big one that I'm gonna hit. So, yeah, that one. That's the one. And then I form inside of it. Oh, good. So what was happening was when I'd hit that one, I'd actually form up inside, or was it this one? Good. So it was one of those two, and what would happen is when I would form inside, or when I would respawn, I would form up inside of it and be stuck inside the geometry. So it looks like that's not the case anymore, and that they properly explode when I hit them. Because I think that was what the problem was, that I was hitting it and it was supposed to explode at that point, and it wasn't, and I was respawning inside of it. This right here, I think, is as absolutely close to how I remember the game as I can get it here. The only thing I'm not entirely sure of, and I won't be sure of until I get to the video playback, is if the aspect ratio on the gameplay looks good. Great. Yeah, I can look over at the preview screen, but it's not really helping me. So far, I don't think I've had any kind of a race with Simolda in it. You know, he's the especially dangerous Doug. He's got flame jets in his pod racer, which are, you know, per the movie, of course. Alright, so I think I've hit and destroyed both of those really nasty ones that I always hit. Why would they run a racetrack through this? I'm giving their insurance, jeez. Yep. I don't know if you've seen racetracks these days, but they have like a damn quarter-mile of sand and gravel on the outside of them to keep people from hitting anything so that they can maintain their insurance. No fun at all. But getting back to the episode 1 movie, pod racing actually kind of derailed the movie a little bit, but I will cut it slack for just being an awesome idea. And we kind of needed a break from all of that, you know, Republic taxation and slave blah-de-blah to just have some Star Wars fun, and I think that's really what the pod racing did, is they provided a bit of the old Star Warsy fun into something that maybe had some themes in it that weren't as Star Warsy as they could have been. I'm not sure we needed to see, for example, how the Senate debated things quite that early. Not sure we really needed to talk too much about trade federations. Not even sure we had to, you know, name the Trade Federation. And of course there was the midichlorian bit that a lot of people don't like. I don't mind that so much, though. It's about the only sci-fi thing actually in Star Wars. Yeah, so if this test works good, I'll probably do some live streaming of this game, since I really just enjoy 3D racers so much. One of the downsides, though, is that because of all the stuff I've had to do with the DirectX and all that, it kind of keeps me from being able to trigger my recording and capture software, streaming software, that kind of thing. So I have a lot of trouble doing that from within here. That's why when I started this test, I was out on Windows. But I think that's probably enough of a test here. Let me just go and review this and see how poorly I did, I suppose.